Welcome back to Innovation RC, guys. Today we actually have a different kind of video. We're still going to be running Spartan today. Actually, he hasn't even been out in like a month and a half, almost 2 months. And that actually has to do with what I wanted to do today, being that he hasn't ran in such a long time. A couple of you guys asked me on Instagram, what do you do like right before a run? How do you prep the car? You know, I mean, yeah, these cars do a one and done kind of pass it and you got to go over it, but it's not like a Top Fuel dragster to where you're going to take the whole thing apart and then it's ready to go and run again. But there are still a couple key things that we need to look at before Spartan touches that road today. Be sure to follow Innovation RC on Instagram. We're gonna have a lot more pictures, videos, and other cool things at a higher frequency than when it's gonna be released on YouTube. So be sure to check that out. Whoa! Alrighty, so here we go. This is Spartan. He is definitely one of the quickest vehicles I've ever built or ran. He actually has a 20 horsepower motor in there and he has a top speed of over 159 miles an hour. Alright guys, so before I even start with anything on the car, what I want to talk to you guys about is tools. Now, you need good tools. I mean, I cannot make that any more simplified than that. Honest to God, you really need good tools that are actually gonna make sure that a bolt gets a clean bite and it's gonna go in there clean and tight. Not to where it's gonna strip it, because you can actually strip bolts with these to where if you do actually screw it too tight, this is stronger than 80–90% of the bolts on this car. And if you guys don't know anything about MIP, they make the absolute best tools, period. They have an amazing warranty backed with the nicest customer service. Honestly, they are really, really responsive in a quick time as well. These are the best. I have never used anything different. That's actually my old set. Now I have a new set and they're gonna last a long time. I actually bought these when I was in high school back in 2015, 2016. So they are actually doing okay for now for the most part, but they're just losing a little bit of bite over time, and that happens to any tool. Alrighty, tidy, lefty, loosey. This is what we're gonna be doing first, and it's possibly the easiest and most well-known thing that you should do, and that would be torque your nuts. If you're just bashing and just playing around, I can understand. You could pretty much go for a couple bash sessions, but I would still definitely make sure that they're tight. Now, if you have a 150+ mile an hour speed car, what you're really gonna need to do is tighten it after every single run, but that doesn't mean hulkingly tight. As you guys can see, all that I'm doing, I'm holding the tire and I'm just giving it a little bit of a utch or an ugga or whatever you guys want to call it. And that goes for 1, 2, 3, and 4. Easy peasy. All right, so step one, as I actually did before, you really want to be sure that the top motor mount bolts are just snug. Now, as you guys can see, we have 2 grub screws on the pinion gear. There it is. Man, that motor is just crazy. Just listen to that. What we want to do, and of course it has blue Loctite on it, just give it a little bit of a snug. Up next, we have our center spool. You want to be sure that everything in the driveline is pretty much on point. So that's good. Everything also has Loctite on it. And the one in the back, just like that. Can't go anymore. And of course, we want to check our gear mesh. You guys see that little kind of clicking? I like to do it as close as possible until you could still barely get the click. So it is perfect just like that. I like to roll it back a little, make sure nothing is bent, because if you hear a difference in sound and you didn't readjust your gear mesh, that means something is bent. All right, so that sounds all proper as we made a full rotation around the whole transmission or the motor. Actually, what happened to one of my buddies, if you guys saw a few months ago, his servo horn actually popped off as he was slowing down. I don't even know how that happens. But we always want to be sure it's snug up on the top like that. I can't do this because I'm holding a camera in one hand, but you want to hold the arm just so that you're not actually spinning the motor. But just make sure it's snug and you're not going to hurt the servo motor inside, and you're golden. Right over there. That's going to be our rear cup for the input shaft of the differential. Now, just saying, if we lose that little cup or the grub screw that's in it, we're only going to be running in front wheel drive, and bad stuff happens when you're at high speed and you lose power going to the rear. The car completely changes how it drives. And the same thing with the front. I don't actually have a good angle, so I can't really see it, unfortunately, but Just make sure that's tight. And now what we're gonna be going over is something not having to do with any kind of tools. As you guys can see, these bullet connectors at the end, they're technically like a little spring that hold on to the female end of the battery or whatever. You gotta make sure that it has a good solder joint. You gotta be sure everything is good, everything is tight as well. I mean, I have one hand right now, but just give her a pull, make sure your solder joints are proper, because when you're pushing serious amperage, like 4, 5, almost 600 amps inside a speed car, it's gonna wanna, it's literally gonna wanna spit these bullets out, and that's why you need a tight connection. And that has happened a couple times. Motor would lock up and your car is not yours anymore at speed. Same thing goes for the rear end. You wanna be sure that everything is tight, so I like to just do this a little bit. Now, something you also wouldn't expect that goes to your ESC is gonna be the wire harness. I always like to push it down just a little bit in case if anything happens. Now, you really wanna be sure that all the ESC connections that go to the receiver are solid. You really want to push them in, just make sure they're okay. And I just like to push down on these, make sure everything is solid, stable. Same thing with the rear, just make sure everything is okay. Other than that, guys, we've covered all of our basics and we are ready to run. All right, we're all zeroed out. We're running 6S. Let's see how well we can do. That was nice. That is that's actually pretty good for this 6S. 136. Well, I mean, it's not like a 6S setup, but on a warm-up 6S pass with the 8S setup, that's an amazing speed. Now, as you guys can see, we have our heatsink over here. So normally I don't even run a fan on top of the motor because it's one pass. So the heatsink's just going to draw out a little bit of heat. That's just going to help aid it just within the run. Now it's going to cool off obviously after everything's unplugged. Same thing with the ESC. ESC is also cool. And there's our practice battery, the 6S 6000 milliamps 65C Black Edition from ChinaHobbyLine. That's an awesome warm-up battery. Here we go, guys. We are all zeroed out. Now we're going to be running 8S. Here we come. Slow down, slow down. Whoa. This thing is really heavy. Let's see what that was. Nice. 155 miles an hour. That's an awesome speed, guys. I really like that number. Smack in the middle between 150 and 160. All right, guys, it is like 90 degrees out here in Florida. It was terribly hot, but Spartan ran really, really well. Guys, I'm pretty happy about Spartan. He hit 155, although it was blistering hot out today. He is kind of dirty. He does need a wash, but other than that, I am very, very happy with this build. And again, guys, be sure to check out Innovation RC on Instagram if you haven't done so. We'll have more picture stuff and I mean, you guys already know. But yeah, guys, definitely stay safe and have a good one.